All right, so today we're going to discuss the concept of who are you, or the concept of Buddhism non self, as who are you really? So, in Buddhism and a lot of other concepts, some doctrines have the concept of self or a soul. In Buddhism, it actually says that doesn't really exist. And that really confused me for a while because I didn't understand that. Like I am myself. I am Taryn. I know who I am. But then I really looked into it, and after I started practicing, meditation for a long time, uh, there might be some validity to it. And here's what I'm going to show you today. So, when we think about who we are, it actually turns out that most of it is based on external circumstances to use to contextualize our personality. So, for example, you can say that you are a hardworking man, etc., etc. These are things that are in the external world that you use to validate yourself. So, for example, we use seeing things that we like and dislike. Those preferences, those systems of preferences, condition our personality. Some people condition their personality off of sexual identity and or preference, and that again, I'm a man. Okay, that's a fact. But the preferences and whatnot, they matter too. And here's a key concept: is that people we interact with, there is no mirror in life for someone's personality. People have to or try to use other people's reaction to them as a mirror for who they really are. So if people don't act favorably to you, it's a mirror, and you think that, oh wow, I am not that great of a person. And people act favorably to you, you think, oh, I am a great person, or maybe not great, but you know what I'm trying to say. So we use people to again condition or contextualize our view of ourself. Preferences in food and whatnot, that is a little more detailed, but the thing is that people can say I like spicy food. They're using the concept of I like hot food. I like spicy food. I like rough food. I like crunchy food and whatnot. Again, this is one of the things that we use, not on a regular basis, but to condition our own personality. Now, preferences and sounds we like. Now that one, like music, for example, people like certain music and they, have a version for other kind of music, and again, that also conditions and contextualizes what we view as ourself. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what happens when some of these are removed? What happens when one of these conditions, or even all of these external conditions, are removed? So as you can see, I put little arrows here because these are the arrows that we use to reaffirm our version of ourself. So let's say, for example, that sexual identity and preferences. Let's say we just take that away. Let's take that away, right? We could take that away by, if you're celibate, like I am, that doesn't really matter to you anymore. The whole preferences thing doesn't matter to me anymore. The whole idea of having that as a way that I contextualize my identity no longer exists because I no longer seek those things from outside. So therefore, we are having some of this outward flowing energy of our consciousness directed back onto more of our inner working of our consciousness. Let's see, if we're seeing things we like and dislike, like seeing people we like, seeing beautiful sights, mountains, whatever you like, beaches, mountains, art, doesn't matter, whatever you like. What if we're not going to take away our eyes now, are we? No. But let's say we stop actively seeking these beautiful sights and whatnot. Well, what happens is that when you start to limit your attachment, your attraction to those beautiful sights, then you also limit how much you dislike seeing things you don't like to see. It's kind of like meeting in the middle. It's more of like, this is how much you like things, this is the middle ground, and this is how much you don't like, sights you don't like to see. So the more we gravitate to the things we like to see, the bigger the margin becomes. But what happens if we stop actively seeking things that we enjoy to see? This margin shrinks. Therefore, it's called equanimity, but we actually start to almost see everything as being relatively the same. We don't have any preferences. So let's say we take away seeing things that we like and dislike. Let's just take that off there. We no longer have any preferences. And that word is going to come up again, preferences. So a lot of people, I didn't really talk about this one that much, but a lot of people, they contextualize who they are about things that happened in their past. Well, the thing is that the past doesn't really exist. The only thing that exists is this present moment. Now, your emotions attached to your past, those are still there. I'm not gonna, those can't change those. But if you take away your thoughts of your past and your memories of your past, because a lot of people use that to contextualize who they are, well, then what happens when you meditate? What happens if you're not currently thinking about your past? Well, that's interesting. Let's take that away too. Thoughts about your past. Let's say that you've reached some kind of state that you're no longer thinking about your past all the time. So therefore, you're not using that to contextualize your identity as well. Now, let's say preferences sounds like this one I can make an entire YouTube video about. Let's say that we stop listening to music. Same analogy when we went to our sites, to our whole way that we are attracted to certain things, and because the more we are attracted to certain things, the more we dislike the things that we don't get, or dislike the things that are we find displeasing. So when we stop actively looking or actually actively listening to music, which I do not do, let's just take that apart. Is the less aversion we have to hearing things that we don't like. So people say they like, oh yeah, I love rock music. I'm a big metalhead. I love Mozart and whatnot. But let's take it away. Let's say like they don't just abstain from music. Preference and food choice. Now that one is tough. That one you can take away. Um, if you only eat one meal a day or whatnot, like I do, you can slowly eliminate your food choices, your preference in food. You kind of just view food as nutriment, and you no longer view food as being pleasing or something to be chased. You view it more as a necessity to continue this existence. So let's put that up there too. And people you interact with. Now this is a tough one. So this one that's a tough one. You can't get rid of people, but you can find solidarity. You can find solitude in certain points of your life where you don't actively need to go out and see people. There are always choices. There's always a time in a day where you can seek solitude to not have your existence and your personality be contextualized by the people you interact with on a regular basis. Um, so let's take that away. Let's say there's no one contextualizing your personality by how you perceive how they act towards you. So, as you can see, I've switched all these arrows to go inwardly now. That's the worst arrow I've ever seen in my life. The thing is that when the consciousness that we currently inhabit is no longer contextualized by the surroundings that we had of food, people, sounds, thoughts for our past, whatnot. The question you have to ask is, who are you really? If you eliminate every single external circumstances that would, you know, condition your personality, who are you? And here's where the concept of self or concept of non-self comes from in Buddhism. Of non-self. See, the key point is that All those things, all those external factors, they're all temporary. They always change. They always change. The people that we were praising us one day are the same people that are blaming us the next day. The foods that we like sometimes even change too. I used to love cheese. Now it destroys my body. So, and like some of the music we listened to when we were younger is not necessarily the same music we like now. And so on and so on and so on. So, the concept of non self is that if all these external circumstances are subject to change, there's nothing permanent for your personality or yourself to ever lock onto. So, therefore, there is no solid you. There is no non changing version of yourself that exists. Of course, this is something hard to see. This is something that it'll take time to really uncover after a while. But I just want to give you a breakthrough or a quick rundown of the concept of non-self in Buddhism and or in general, in my opinion. This is also this factor of eliminating external circumstances to conditionalize or contextualize your personality is how people get to deeper meditative states. Because you're using external factors doesn't help. But yeah, that was it. Just a quick rundown. I'll follow up with this video in the future. Thank you for watching.